All right, Brandon, yesterday we talked to Sean McDermott. He made it easy to get a wide receiver. He said, guys just got to know how to catch the ball. Do we overthink in our cases, overthinking? And what's the danger for, I guess, for you at any position of seeing all the flash that goes with that position and not focusing on maybe what's the most important thing?
Yeah, I mean, Sean's spot on there. You can run fast, you can jump high, you can get open, but if you can't complete the catch, it does no good. So that obviously is a big part of it, and we do pay attention to, drops. Are it drops because of hand placement? Is it drops because of focus drops, or lack of strength, contested balls? So those are all things that we evaluate in the process, and it is super important to complete the catch.
I find the whole process of finding players in the draft an interesting based on the dynamic of your own roster. And I was trying to find out from you in the sense of knowing who you have on the current roster, the impact that has when you make a pick, fitting that guy in. The fact that you have quality receivers, does that change the type of receiver you will look at in this draft?
Honestly, there's so many different, I mentioned it yesterday, so many different sizes, shapes, and speed and all that. We're truly just looking for good fits, good players, not targeting a certain, only a speed guy or only a size guy. There's a lot, and I think we'll be able to find, good players, throughout the, the draft, the depth of the draft.
You said yesterday the interview process is right behind the medicals is the most important thing for you when you come here. Take us in that type of room. Is the setup always the same? Do you usually have the same kind of people there? Do you do it in different ways depending on the player?
Sometimes we do, but for the most part, we probably spend 80% of the meeting just watching film, talking football, stuff that they can't prepare for. These guys get coached up with canned responses to certain interview questions. So we spend a couple minutes just getting them loose, getting them relaxed, and then we turn the tape on and just kind of pull up plays from their season, some good, some bad, and just kind of see how they respond.
Do you always lead the meeting?
I started out, but probably, again, most of the meeting I turn over to the position coach or our coordinator and it helps me and Sean to really watch those guys interact and see, how comfortable this guy is taking coaching or answering questions, and does he take responsibility on some of the plays that we know he made a mistake.
There are times, I'm sure, when a negative could come out. I did hear Bill Belichick talking about a pre-draft meeting with Gronk. I don't know if you heard this, but he said we put him in a room and he fell asleep in the middle of the room. And the reason I bring that up is obviously he became one of the all-time greats, but is there ever a danger in something in one of these meetings happening, whether it's a big negative or a small one, and you taking too much of that into account and maybe missing on a quality player?
Yeah, you definitely could. You only get certain opportunities, but we try not to just, we know things about these guys from the fall. Our scouts have been digging on these guys, and we know coaches at certain schools, or maybe we know an athletic trainer or something like that. So we've got a lot of recon, and this is more just verifying who this player is. So if it's a one-off situation, we're not going to throw them out, but if it matches what we already have heard about them, then maybe it's confirmation of who this person is.
You talk about putting a player at ease. Have there been times when you've interviewed a guy here at the Combine and then met with him another time and they almost seem like a different person?
Yeah, I mean, I go back to even the Senior Bowl. Josh Allen was he was so nervous, so uptight at the Senior Bowl, and we talked to him for like 30 minutes, and what I realized later was he was trying so hard to impress and probably not being truly who Josh Allen is. The next time we saw him was in Laramie. We flew out there, and and we had the Pagulas with us. And I'm thinking, man, if he was nervous in front of us, how's he going to be in front of ownership? But he was more confident, more relaxed, and just truly showed who his colors were. And there's been others like that sometimes guys are trying too hard to impress. You just got to get them to relax.
In an overall sense, I know you're a golfer. So I made this analogy of saying getting down to single digits in your handicap is a great accomplishment, but going from single digits to scratch has to be the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Building a team to be a playoff team is hard, but going from playoff team to championship team has got to be the most difficult. Does that analogy fit with what you think you guys have now?
No, it definitely is. I mean, even we use the words, sustained success, and even just back-to-back playoffs is very hard. You don't see a lot of teams that are able to back it up because the league, it's set up for 8-8, and it's hard to get 9, 10, 11, 12 wins. So we've got our work cut out for us. We're going to start 0-0 next season, and nothing that we did in 2019 is going to help us, other than experience. Nobody's going to say, oh, this is the Bills, they won 10 games, we're going to roll over. Coaches are going to point when they come play us, hey, this was a playoff team. We're going to measure, yourselves against this team, and we do the same thing. But our guys got to come back humble and hungry as we move into 2020.
As I let you go, what is your handicap right now?
It's a 6, but I got to work it down to 4 or 5.
See, it's the tough numbers to get, right? It is.
Yeah, Buffalo weather is not helping either.
And all this work probably keeps you off the golf course.
It does.
Hey, thanks for your time. Good luck with the rest of the process, and ready for the draft.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.